The date is August 2nd, 2022, and Alpine have just come off the back of a not so great Hungarian Grand Prix when their cars got 8th and 9th. The day after, Alonso, their lead driver, announced that he was moving to Aston Martin for 2023. This would lead Alpine to have an empty seat, so they looked for an obvious choice, their reserve driver Oscar Piastri. But Mr Pastry did not like this, and as a result he tweeted that he would not be driving for Alpine the next year. A legal battle was fought and Piastri was right. The man who found the loophole in his contract was Mark Webber, an ex-F1 driver who he himself almost swapped teams but didn't. This was with Ferrari at the end of 2013, but this deal never happened. What would have happened if he made that move? It's 2013 and Webber has just come off his first winless season since 2008, and the Red Bull team he had been part of since 2007 was extremely fractured from the inside, with there seemingly being a focus on Sebastian Vettel and not on Mark. This came to a head in Sepang, Malaysia, where the infamous Multi-21 incident happened. Vettel passed Mark Webber under direct instruction not to, and this was actually defended by the team, and they took no action against Vettel. This race may have played a role in Webber choosing to end his 12-year F1 career, but there are some rumours that he was going to move to Ferrari, or this never happened. But what would have happened if this actually did happen and he moved to Ferrari? So for a start, Raikkonen never joins Ferrari and stays at Lotus for 2014, which leads to Maldonado staying at Williams, but is joined by Massa as Bottas is forced out of the sport. This leads to him moving to Mercedes as a reserve driver for his year out of the sport. Over the course of the season, Webber alongside Alonso would struggle with the Ferrari F14T, but he performed near to Raikkonen's level, which would lead Ferrari to almost beating Williams to third in the Constructors, but would miss out by 25 points. Even though Alonso falls out with the team, he stays at the team due to the good result they've had even with a bad car, so Vettel never moves to Ferrari because Alonso is still there. This means that in 2015, the grid stands with Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, Williams, Force India and Lotus did change drivers. McLaren will bring in Bottas after promising tests for Mercedes to partner Button. This forces Magnussen out of a seat. Toro Rosso would seek a Fiat stay at the team, which changes from real life as he would have gone to Red Bull. Alongside him there will be Max Verstappen, who after a promising GP3 season would be greenlit for the second seat. Meanwhile, Manor and Sauber would run the same teams as real life, whilst Caterham would go bankrupt and disappear so as not to appear on the grid. Webber and Alonso really improved on the previous season, so it would mean that they would want to stay on for another season. Maldonado would start to fall out with Williams, so he'd leave at the end of the year. Raikkonen would have 2 tough years at Lotus, so he'd call it quits on his career at the end of 2015 before the team rebranded as Renault. In 2016, the empty seat at Lotus would be filled by Maldonado, who would be partnered by Magnussen, who would replace Grosjean as the Frenchman left for Haas. Haas would sign Grosjean as previously mentioned, and Gutierrez as they would in real life. They would succeed in their first season. The spot at Williams would be filled by Sainz, who had looked at other seats as it appeared there would be no seat at the Red Bull family that would open up. Hulkenberg would be forced out of a seat as Ocon would partner Perez at Force India, and this would mean that he'd have to take a year out. At Manor, both drivers would leave the team and they'll be replaced by Mitch Evans and Pascal Wehrlein, who would stay on until the end of the season when the team folded. Finally, at Sauber, Ericsson would stay on for a second year but would be partnered with Charles Leclerc after making a mark in GP3. After a close title battle between Rosberg and Hamilton, Rosberg would land up quitting at the end of the season after winning the title. This would mean that there would be a seat at Mercedes, which would be opened up from the start of 2017. Ferrari would start to fall backwards in 2016, and this would lead Alonso to leave and Webber to retire after a 15-year F1 career. 2017 would start with Mercedes hiring Ocon to fill the second seat next to Hamilton after a promising season with Force India, and this would leave a seat open that would see Wehrlein go to Force India after Sauber decided to retain Ericsson and bring in Antonio Giovinazzi to partner him. At Ferrari, Vettel would take Alonso's seat to fulfil his dream of driving for Ferrari. Meanwhile, Charles Leclerc would partner him, and this would lead to Ferrari pushing Mercedes to the end of the season for both titles. Vettel's seat at Red Bull would be filled by Max Verstappen, who would leave the spot open at Toro Rosso, who would appoint Gasly to fill the second seat. Meanwhile, Hulkenberg would replace Gutierrez at Haas, and this would be the end of the Mexican's F1 career. Massa would choose to actually retire as he had no reason to stay in the sport as Bottas never goes to Mercedes. This means that Stroll make his debut at Williams, as he does in 2017, but he'd be partnered by Alonso after Williams had 3 great seasons which would draw him in. Sainz meanwhile would move to Renault and partner Magnussen for the French team. Manor had gone bankrupt and Wehrlein managed to go to Force India, but Mitch Evans wasn't so lucky and that ended his career. Up on screen now is a spreadsheet that shows all the teams and driver moves and everything throughout the years. Overall, this video is about the alternative timeline that could have happened if Mark Webber had taken that move to Ferrari in 2014. Although this video may be extremely inaccurate, the retirement of Webber is one of the most important events in the past 10 years of F1 due to the effect it had. Without his retirement, F1 would be completely different today, and a 2021 title battle may have never even happened. Anyway, if you have enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and if you have not, please tell me why in the comments below. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.